Number one. Oh, wait, you have
Yeah.
named it right now.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order, and I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Carrie Linklater. I'm your chairperson this morning, and I'm joined on the panel by Mr. Mark Boreski and Mr. Marcel Larandro. Our city assessor today is Ms. Marina Tenawera, and our admin secretary is Cara Belshaw. As directed by Manitoba Health, we're requesting people avoid close contact within 2 meters with anyone showing symptoms of a respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. If you are experiencing flu-like symptoms, we are requesting that you excuse yourself from the room. In regards to the hearing, we will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparison of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the board. The board is appointed annually by City Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. And as information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record.
Alex is just here in the meeting right now, so we'll go to
Item 4, okay.
Can we just X out? Can we just X out the other one we had? Close that tab. So if we go to the tab, we have this tab open. Just exit.
then that's going to close the whole thing. If you want to just close the item, I think you can have there.
Is it there?
Yeah.
And then to go down.
What number are we going? Now I really read it.
Okay, so I'll refer you. So please state your name.
Number 4.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth and the truth alone? I do. Thank you. Thank you.
Assessor brief.
Yeah. Gotta bring this one down.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, but I like choppy here, huh?
Yeah.
I can do it right there.
He hasn't got a good internet connection.
Yeah.
It's good to
Can you hear us?
Closing up.
Mark, is this your first hearing? No.
Yeah, we can hear you, it's very choppy.
I'm not really sure.
It's on his end, not your end.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying, like, I don't want to offer him as a suggestion to try.
Get a
Do
stronger
you have a
signal.
lot of apps or programs running on your computer? I don't know, is it laptop or an iPad?
Other people.
You could ask him if he has WhatsApp, and we could do just audio through his WhatsApp. Can we bring that up?
WhatsApp is not an app. And I don't know that it would feed into the ITR and all of that, so.
Well, you can always call in and we'll hold the phone up to the mic.
You can hear me, I'm just gonna put it back now and see if we can. Applicant. Okay, this is
The year before.
Okay, so the applicant for 2 and 3 is here, I'm going to put in the name.
So back to 1 now?
Back to 2.
Back to 2.
And 2 Stern Line, right? Where am I now? I'm on 4. Back to 2. Here, the mic's not working.
Hello,
There, that's working.
Hi there, can you hear us, Alex?
I can. Hello.
Hi, it's Crystal joining as well this morning.
I'm-
She's here. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I'm going to just affirm the both of you if you'll be speaking on the matters today. I'll
Yes.
start with Alex. Please state your name.
Alexander William Payne.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And Crystal, will you be speaking as well?
Only if I have to.
Okay, so did you want to be affirmed then or not?
You can, sure.
Please state your name.
Crystal Ray.
Do you affirm the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing?
Yes.
Thank you.
And did you? Yes. Great, okay. Morwen, if you'd like to proceed.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the business assessment appeal. Address L112E, 1485 Portage Avenue. Business assessment ID 24829. Business name Blow the Belt. business owner, Lothar Belt Store, Saskatchewan Limited. This business occupied in premise area of 2,641 square feet. We use the base ARV per square feet, $73.72 to calculate the annual rental value. Our total annual rental value is $201,180. The tenant are paying $81 per square feet reported rent, and the below my rent comparables are showing similar type of businesses what they are paying for the 1485 Portage Avenue Polo Park shopping center. All the units are close proximity to the tenant location. You can see unit number and the address. My rent comparables are listing. Lowest one is $67 per square feet. $67 per square feet. And highest rent, as my comparables, is $90 per square feet. So, as this information, I'm presenting this $73.72 is lower than reported net rent, and which is fair for this tenant location. I'm asking to confirm annual rental value as it is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Payne.
Morning.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good, all right. Did you have any questions of the assessor on the information she's just provided?
Yes, the rent comparables. Are these up to date and as of when?
You can see the lease start date in the third column.
Right, but what I'm getting at is that the city was unaware of our rental adjustment by Polo Park. So my question is it possible that these rent comparables were based off of an original lease, yet the mall has done deals since?
Because this is a period of close proximity to the base year. The base year we cannot use the very, very new rents. We consider those ones as a post reference. Those are the reasonable rents within the period we consider for the market rent.
So these are based off of original lease rents, not necessarily if the mall has cut deals with their tenants.
Our annual rental value, because we cannot base on the contract rent all the time, we consider the fair market rent is the prevailing rent any tenant can use for the any space can leased out. Those are the current leases in place. Those are the correct leases.
Okay, because I would argue that the fair market rent in this, I guess, is this my turn to discuss our case or not yet?
No, it's time for us to ask questions.
Yes, yeah, sorry. I'm having a hearing.
I guess that would be end of my questions for her. I guess may I present our case then?
No, the panel is going to ask questions. So,
Gotcha.
thank you. Mr. Breskin?
This is Polo Park.
Yes.
Where in Polo Park is this unit?
This is the lower main level L. All of my tenants are level L.
And that is regarded as the main level? That's not the basement, that is the main level?
The main level, yeah.
I see.
As my understanding, yes.
Okay.
All of the comparables are in this.
And where your comparables range, where on the lower level? Are they all at one end? Are they fully
It's spread out.
Spread out? Okay.
Yeah, spread out. It's L103, 105. His unit is L112E. I cannot actually tell about this way. It's a spread out. It's a L level spread out leases.
And where on the main level is the subject?
I cannot tell where it is exactly.
That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Miranda?
I guess I got to follow up from what the appellant had brought forward. If you look at your list of rents, the second one from the bottom, it's 5-year written in 18. That's at $75.
Yes.
And it seems, looking at the numbers, the higher ones are the longer, the older leases that were signed. The lease, right now we're looking at 18 as the year, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So
April
that
1st, 2018.
February 18th falls in at $75.
Yeah.
Does the tenant have a 5-year or does he have a, well, I guess we'll find out from him.
It's a 4-year lease.
He's got a 4-year, signed when?
May 1st, 2016. You can see it, the lease start date in brief. May 1st, 2016, for 5 years.
May,
But we are not using contract rent. We are using $73.72, model-driven market rent.
but you're using, what was it, contract rate then?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
You're using $81, correct?
I am using $73.72 to calculate.
And his contract was 80. Okay, I've got no further questions.
So Polo Park main level, is this an actual store or is this one of the kiosks in the middle of the mall?
As per the size, it is a store.
It is a store, okay. You didn't have the chance to,
No, I did not go inspection any of those.
okay. And your comparables, do you know what they are? What their business is?
I have the list of names. It's the same kind of businesses because the Polo Park is a unit. Then anyone can move in. Then they can start a toy business or the clothing business or the shoe. They can do whatever. But my list of everything, I have the clothing stores. I have shoe stores. And even the toy stores, everything in my list. But I don't put any of the kiosk rent in my list.
Sorry, Marwan, I'll just stop you. I guess what I'm getting at, I'm wondering if you, in your comparables, have any major brand stores?
What do you mean about the major brand store?
Chains.
Okay, I do have some chains. Yes, I have Ricky's. If you compare the Ricky's as a chain, I have Ricky's. Ricky's paying $75 per square feet. They are in very close proximity to the tenant. Tenant is in 112E. Ricky's are in L111E.
Sorry, do you have any more large chains?
I have Roots Canada. They are paying $90. They are the highest rent paying tenant here. Even I have the lowest rent paying $67. Also, I think it's the chain. It's the Aritzia. Yeah, they are paying $67. It's really hard to determine about if it's the chain pay the highest rent or not. I go with the space commissarea 2,641. The approximately that size building paying around $70, $75, $77 type thing. That's what I can.
Thank you.
But it's a range.
Yeah, that's all my questions. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
You would like to give us your presentation?
I'd just like to also clarify our lease for this particular location was a 10-year lease, started in 2013. So I'm not sure where you got your information from for a 4-year lease, but I just wanted to clarify that. So We've, this is actually for two of our locations in Winnipeg, in Polo Park. So I guess we're addressing right now is the unit 24829, and we'll address the second one later. Polo Park was affected drastically when the outlet opened up in 2017. To put it in context, they've told us that last year they did one permanent deal in Polo Park Mall, one. That mall has been severely affected. So the contractual rates that went back to 2013 for when we signed this lease were inflated. And the mall realized that. And they gave us a rent reduction in both locations. And they've extended that again through till the end of 2020 for the fact that sales do not justify the rents in those locations. And I have no, I don't know if these rents that are in here as the rent comparables are the similar deals that they've cut of other retailers. I bet you there's a lot of them in there that are not showing in this comparables, because these comparables are only showing the original contractual rate going back, could be several years, 10 years, could be before the outlet. So what I'm asking is that we're basing this on actuals, and our actuals are that we're only contractually obligated to pay 18% of our sales. And in this year, or in I guess the year we're discussing, 2018, that's 105,640, and we have a signed agreement by Cadillac Fairview for that. The sales do not justify the original contractual rate. That's my argument.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When you actually sign,
Yeah, this was signed. Our original lease was a 10-year signed lease commencing February 1st, 2017.
2013.
Sorry, 2013.
as of today, do you only pay the percentage rent of sale?
We are.
You don't pay any rent, contract rent or nothing?
18% flat.
That's all you pay. Thank you, Mr. Madam Chair. That's all my question.
Thank you. Mr. Borowski?
You're saying you're no longer subject to a contract rent, you only pay a percentage of sales?
The original contract was amended to a new rent structure of 18%.
Of 18%. And that original amount was how much?
Original amount base was 75.
The base was 75.
Correct.
And
it does have an escalator.
which was?
During the fourth term or seventh consecutive 12 months, it went up to 81, and then after that went to 87. So back in 2013, when we signed this, and based on current sales, we thought that was a fair deal. But once the outlet opened, the economy took a hit. It was clear that that was no longer a fair rent for Polo Park Mall.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
What did you say the rent that you paid in 2018 was?
105,640.
105,640. So that was your total rent that year in 18.
That was based on the contractual or tenant agreement. The actuals, I can get our accounting people to verify that, but it should be that.
And that was signed, the contract was signed on what date?
It was signed on December 5th, 2018, but it was effective September of 2018. And it's been that all the way through until right now. My agreement goes in through December 2020.
So what was the value you were looking for?
105,640.
You repeat that for me?
105,640.
Okay. I've got no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Payne, so you signed the original lease 10 years in February 2013, correct?
Correct.
Sorry, and if you could just, and how much was that for?
At the time, $75 per square foot base rent.
Thank you. Thank you. No more.
Thank you.
Can I ask Marina a question?
Yeah.
Do you look at the contract rents from 2018?
No, we have the rent. Actually, I was surprised to see those ones. I checked the rent roll, report submitted by owner.
Mhm.
I checked every rent roll. That's how I find the comparables and everything. Those are not the contract rent as per the rent roll. That is, I calculated, then the annual rent, the per square foot rate will be $37.55 per location as per the numbers he was reporting. So those are not the numbers I'm seeing. I checked the rent roll, entire rent roll submitted by the property owner.
May I ask?
What was the rent roll at that time for his?
$81 per square feet.
His was 81.
$81 per square feet, because that's the second step up. They signed the lease as per the information we heard right now. So start from $75 in 2013. It went up by 2018 for $81. It will be going up $87 as per the original rent, contract rent. But we don't focus so much on the contract rents. Even my presentation, I'm not asking contract rent, I'm asking market rent as a module driven. It is $73.72 using all the data we had.
But as the accountant has stated, they've had a problem with the mall and they've had to adjust rents. Do we not have a way of finding why would they use an inflated
But those
number?
contract rents, those are percentage rents. Most of the tenants pay the net rent plus contract rent plus percentage rent. But those information are very new to me. He's only paid percentage rent. I have to go and check actually it's true or not. I don't know, because I checked the rent roll. Physically, I went through entire more rent roll when I do the briefs.
Well, he's sworn in. He's giving us his
No. I'm not telling his information is incorrect, because every year we ask to submit the income expenses mailer from the owner.
Mhm.
Owner send the income expenses mailer. When we run the briefs, we go through the income expenses mailer and the rent roll information. They go through and find the information. Then as per that rent roll, I looked. My rent comparables direct from the rent roll and my rent direct from the rent roll. Then that's all I can say.
Okay. You had a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Question for the applicant. Your base rent began at $75, then it had escalations after that. Have you been subject to other charges all along, as well as the base rent?
No, sir.
Not. So the 18% was not a change. It was a completely new way of levying the rent against your unit. Is that correct?
Well, I guess they use the original lease format and they do an amendment on the rent portion. So they change the rent portion of the original lease. So it is
amount to just that specific percentage of sales.
Correct.
Okay, and you were not subject to rent plus some percentage of sales or?
No.
Okay, thanks.
May I ask a question as well? Of the
Yes, sir.
yeah, just were you aware of our adjustment of the lease for 18%?
No, I'm not, because we only check the rent roll submitted by the owner for that entire period. I check the rent roll, and also I only see your lease today. We don't aware, but also in the meantime, we have to use the annual market rent as per our charter. We use the annual rental market, which is similar location rent lease on the market as the reference is.
Well, so, I mean, by that logic, I would cast doubt into any of these comparables. Half of these could be on a similar deal as me. We don't know.
But that's not the owner reported your information. We rely on the rent roll information we get from the owner. We don't have any each of the lease information.
Okay, that's the end of my question. Thank you.
Thank you. No more questions? Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. King.
Are we discussing the second company, or is that a different?
That's what is yours, right?
This is chairperson.
Yes.
Could we have a short recess before to have a discussion before we carry on?
Sure.
Where can we recess to, Karen?
Ooh.
Over there.
I'd like to call this meeting back to order. Good timing, Mr. Payne. Okay.
We didn't receive the assessment and taxation department assessment sheet for the second company. Don't know if that matters.
I emailed Kara.
We emailed whoever sent this to
Kara.
Kara and advised.
I just sent it.
Just sent it? Okay. We're just gonna go print it. Just go print it, 1 second.
We're moving to number 3.
Yes.
This one also says L112E.
No, 201.
Oh, that's what comes up when did you click?
The one that was emailed, I think it's the same company.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
Below Delta, we're referring to a store with the trade name of Volcom.
Zero 0249.
Company number?
Do I have only
Yeah, they're all about the same read twice.
Right.
So let me just go back to my email.
It's a different company ownership.
we can close these ones?
Location 0249 in the mall. 42904. Roll number?
Roll number.
Roll number 42904.
Hi, Alice.
Give her a second.
It was named, labeled.
Okay, coolio.
refresh. Where do we hit refresh? Right there.
Alex and Crystal, I sent it again. Should
Um,
be the correct one now.
Thank you.
Not refreshing.
Mine is still coming up as the previous one. Yeah, see, I'm on 5026.
Yep, it's this one.
Oh, so there's no, okay. Thank you.
So I just labeled it number 4, file number, and then A and T. See it?
File number, 18,
Oh, okay, I got it, got it.
and the city brief is the same.
No, I'll delete the one that's bad.
What is the address? It's the 555-921.
No, we're doing number 3 now.
Oh,
1485 Portage, Unit 249.
And the applicant's brief was the right one.
It should be.
Yeah, I have it here. Crystal's just printing it for us.
Mr. Payne, are you all right to proceed? Or you're waiting for the,
That's okay. I have it also open on my computer.
okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I put it on the board. That's why we're.
So this is Walcom.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Ms. Tenaware, if you'd like to proceed.
thank you, Madam Chair. Property address, business address 0249 1485 Portage Avenue, business assessment ID 42904, business name Walcom, business owner VLCM Fashions Paris Inc. Total annual rental value for this property calculated to 165,900 using permits area of 2,142 area based on base ARV is $75.01 per square feet. That's how we calculate original value. The lease information provided, the lease start date is April 1st, 2016. This is also 4 years lease. I believe this is a step up lease too. The reported lease rent is $87 per square feet, but we are using model driven rent of $75 per square feet for this location. My rent comparables are in the other side of the page. Rent comparables is the list of the list. This is all in the level 2, starting number 2 as the unit number. And all of the rents are within the market period, within the period. And those leases also, I try to find the leases close to the lease area size-wise. The subject is 2,162 square feet. My lease vary from 1,000 square feet lease to 5,000 lease. But you can see the range. We have the lowest rent reported is $63 and highest rent reported in this list is $95 per square feet. So based on these ones, I'm asking to confirm the annual rental value. Also, I wanted to add our annual rental value given by the market rent for the space. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Payne, did you have any questions of the assessor?
Yes, again, where did you get the lease start date and lease term from?
We always, every year, our city assessment department, we request the information, rental information from the owner. Owner send us every year rent roll. We call the income expenses mailer information, which include the rent roll. We always get the information based on the rent roll.
I think this owner is going to get into trouble. This is actually a 10-year deal as of February 1st, 2013.
If I add you the little bit information, because sometimes those information lease has a step up. This might be the second step up. Your lease might start at the lower number than $87. You might pay 75 or something. It went up to in 2016 for $87. That's my understanding. That's the way it is usually. I think this is the second step up or third step up. I don't know more information.
Got it. Okay, that was all my questions. Thank you.
Mr. Boraski.
Your comps, are they again?
Level two.
throughout- Sorry?
Level 2.
Level 2, are
Level
they spread?
Spread out, yeah. Then you can see all the numbers starting 2. It's spread out.
Given that you've got comps here at 5,500 square feet, 5,300 square feet, those are the lower rents. And you go down to others that are close to being half the size. Are there several here that you would regard as your best
Excuse me,
comparables?
that's what's your number you tell me? The 55. That's the page. It's starting $63.
Sorry?
$63 is the lowest.
Is the lowest, yes.
Lowest.
I'm looking at the 5517 and 5397 square feet
Oh, okay.
at $65 each.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
But
those are
twice,
the based
those are
on the
twice the
size.
size.
Yeah, based on the size, it's the economics, the scale,
Yeah.
the bigger.
Right.
Smaller.
And your highest at 95
Yes,
is
that's
the
right.
smallest, so makes
Yes.
sense again.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, if you start to disregard sort of the outliers, and you look at ones that are most similar in size, what would be your best comparables here?
Okay. The size-wise closest is the first comparable. It is the 203B, starting 2015 October lease, $83 per square feet. Oh, that's the very closest by the size.
And there's another one at 2038, the second last one,
Yes.
which has the lowest.
Yes, that's the
amount.
lowest. It is also December. Yeah, it's 2016 December. Those are
Is
that's
location a factor here at all, or?
it is very hard to me to tell. So many other factors too there. Honestly, I cannot tell about why they pay lower rent and why the other people pay higher rent.
All right, that's all my questions.
Ask a question?
Wait, is that?
Or, no, sorry.
No, I'm going to leave it for you, Madam Chair.
So I am just wondering why, because I'm assuming that Mr. Payne is going to give us information on the lease again, as he did in his previous property. Why that would not be available to you, the changes?
Because as per now I'm hearing, they are only paying percentage rent, which is not the rent. I don't know any information about between the owner and tenant agree to, but we have the information provided by the owner as per lease information. Those are the legit information we have as of today. In between time, if they go any kind of deal between, we don't know. But that's all. If they sign as of today, it's a post reference. We are not considering anything after the April 1st, 2018. That's the cutoff date. We cannot use the post reference also. Then I'm only seeing the lease information sent for that period of time. Those are the legit information we have. I don't know about any of the detail signing the actual lease. It's an owner and tenant detail we don't.
Mr. Payne, if you'd like to give us your presentation.
Yeah, so in this particular lease amendment, which was signed in September of 2018, it was not a percentage rent deal. Our base rent was adjusted down to $50 per square foot. So just further to your conversation that this is a percentage deal, maybe it wouldn't be reported. The lease changed. It was an amended lease to $50 base. And thus we're asking for an adjustment of $107,100. Or not $207,100. Same logic would be that these rent comparables, it seems like, are based off the original contractual rate when that mall was humming along. A lot has happened since then. They have not done no deals. They've done a lot of side deals. It is reasonable to assume that a percentage of these comparables are not accurate, and that like us, 2 stores in that mall have lower rents, and that the base rents that are here are not accurate. What is accurate is our lease. Our lease states that in Goldenbelt's case went to 18%, and in Volcom's case, it's $50 per square foot. And we're asking for an adjustment, please, on taxes to represent the actuals. Thank you.
Thank you. Question?
Yes. Do you aware about your 2018 September new lease is the post-reference information we cannot consider for this assessment period?
I'm sorry, you're asking, what was the question?
Do you aware this, you mentioned about your new lease is based on September 2018 signing. Do you aware it is the post-reference we cannot consider for this period of time, the base period for this assessment?
Why is that?
Because we only consider the information based on the base on April 1st, 2018 is the last date. After past that date is the post-reference. Those information we will consider for the next cycle of assessment.
So we should have done this back in September 2018?
No.
Or in 2019?
They should have the lease done by April.
Oh.
Because that's what she gave.
This is your information only. I want to know about you aware about that information or not.
No.
Okay. That's all my questions, Madam Chair.
Mr. Perez.
No, you already asked me, or you have another one?
I've asked him.
He has an answer.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just as a follow-up to the question that the assessor was just asking you, have you reviewed the city assessment website, their fact sheets, frequently asked questions, things like that? Or some information, say, about the reference date?
I have not. Crystal has.
Yeah.
All right, that's all my questions.
Thank you.
So on your contract, which you signed in 2013, they've added addendums to it to give you the relief arrears?
Yes.
And when was that to be terminated? Am I seeing August 2019 as a termination on that?
They've extended it through 2020.
But not according to what the information you've given us.
I can submit
Yeah, with CERB and stuff.
new documentation. So with COVID-19 and everything, CERB, and the new reality, the landlord, I would assume, is going to continue on with this through the remainder of our term. But as of right now, it's 2020, and we can provide the documentation for that.
No further questions.
So again, Mr. Payne, this new agreement was signed in September of 2019, correct?
2018.
2018.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry.
Can you just get clarification on the amount he's
That's
asking?
just what I was going to ask.
I think it was
Yeah.
147.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Yes. Can you just clarify what number you were looking for again, please?
1,700. Sorry, 107,100. That is the amount of rent that we paid.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone have anything further to add? Unusual.
I'm just going to keep going down, so
Are you all right, Marcel? You don't have any?
I'm not sure yet. I'm seeing three separate numbers here. I'm seeing what's the 147,798 then on the contract?
Oh, this one was the first one.
So that was the first amendment. That looks like 147,798, and then I've got another one here that is at 107, and that started September 2019. So I'd have to double check to see if they lowered it, or my understanding is it was always the same, but for some reason it is lowered in 2019 and 2020. So I don't know if that was a mistake on the lease or if it actually did end up going lower. I would have to double check.
But that would have been the 2018 number, would it not? The 147,798.
Yes. So you are correct. So 2018 would be 147,798, and then 2019 would be 107,100. So it went down, I guess.
Okay. We're dealing with the 18 value, as you are aware, correct?
Sorry, what was the question?
We're dealing with the 2018 value as you.
Okay, so yes, 147,798. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, this matter is concluded. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Payne.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience with our.
You were our first.
Yes.
Oh, all right. I like it.
Our technical difficulties. Thank you.
That was great. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Where are we going now?
Okay, so we are going to go to 555 Sterling.
That's number 1, correct? Number.
And I'm so sorry, I named that one wrong, so
That's
the one that I just added in there was actually.
Okay.
So where are we going now?
We are going to 555 Sterling Line Parkway.
Which is 4? I thought we were going back to number 2.
No, we did 2. We did 2 and 3. So now we're going to 4.
1 to 4. So skip that 1.
It's 5953 accessory.
Yeah, got it. Brief 1, brief 2. Got it. Number 4, you said, right?
Well, it is, yeah, it's listed as 4. The applicant supplied 2 briefs, bunch of documents. Then there's the accessory.
Great, can you hear us?
Yeah, I think we got a better connection now. Sorry about that.
Great.
So I'll just affirm you before we begin your item. Can you please state your name?
My first name is Reed, last name is Busky.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And I see someone else with you. Is that person going to be speaking on this item as well?
They will be. It's Marcia Riddell.
Okay. So, Marcia, can you please state your name?
Marcia Riddell.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
If you would like to,
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address 21555 Sterling Lion Parkway. Business assessment ID.
just want to, excuse me, Mr. Houston, I just want to confirm you've got these city assessors free.
Yes, on comparables.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
You have it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Business name, Candy Toys. Business owner, 1002561 Manitoba Limited. Property permit area is 2,403. Base ARV is 90,617. We use the base ARV per square feet, $37.71 per square feet, which is model-driven market rent, and occupancy cost set up. Total occupancy cost is 5,883. Our total annual rental value 96,480. This is the as for the tenant, as per the owner's information. This is the temporary tenant, and they did not reported the rent information for this unit. So the below are my rent comparables. I put the rent comparables here, which is close proximity to the unit. Those rent comparables are vary from $32 per square feet to $41 per square feet. I try to find the closest size comparables, but this is the range of comparables. So I'm asking to confirm the value as it is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I guess the first question is it's basically assessed at double value since the previous year, and I'm just trying to understand why, because the previous year was around the $47,000 mark, which is very comparable to what we actually pay. So I'm just trying to understand why double an assessed value year over year. When, let's be honest, the retail market, it's a tough game, especially now since COVID. And there's still many vacant spots in that mall that have never been occupied since the mall's been open. And I think it's been open about 5 years. So I'm just trying to understand what's the rationale and reasoning for the double in value year over year.
Honestly, it is very tough question to me to answer. I did not check the last year annual rental value for this property because I solely check on this year market rents. This is the market rent driven by the model driven, $37.71, which is we use for negotiation for the property value for the 2020 also. So I don't know who was the tenant for the last cycle, but which is the area they use. I cannot answer directly why it's the double. It's based on
us.
We were the tenant last year as well, so that's why I know.
Okay. I only can say this is the model using the data we have in the system. This is the model driven market rent for this unit. That's all I can say. And also that is confirmed by my rent comparables.
Okay. I guess my next point is it's nowhere really close to reality on what the assessed value is. Like if they were a temporary lease, if they could get that assessed value, my guess is that they would have a tenant in there paying close to that $96,000 mark. And don't think they will anytime soon, to be honest. So.
Okay, you know what, I'm sorry, is it Mr. Bursky?
Yeah, Busky, yeah.
Thank you. You'll be able to present in a few minutes, so.
Okay.
This is just questions on what the assessor has presented. Thank you. Mr. Bresky, did you have questions of the assessor?
You are using a driven rent.
Yes.
Could you briefly explain what that means, more for the sake of the applicant than anything else, but
sure.
And how it is derived?
Okay.
Why you use it?
Okay. Thank you. So this is $37.71 is the model-driven rent. Every assessment cycle, we design the model to find using the data we have.
This is a computer model you're talking about, a statistical process?
Yes, that is. We use the mass appraisal model to calculate the annual rental value. That these are your market rent based on the market trend driven by using the assessment model. Those are not the trends what you contract rent, what you actually paying. But this rent we calculated based on the data we collected every year. That's why the $37.71 I mentioned as the model-driven market rent. Is that clear enough?
If you're saying that this is not the contract rent, it is rents that you receive information about.
It is. I cannot tell you just the average. We input the many information to statistical model.
Okay.
We use the government. Then it's run the models. I'm not the modeler. I cannot explain so many model related questions. But the only thing I know, we input all the data within the city and the similar type of those ones to find out which will be the market rent for this type of location to release out.
So you're saying that this model rent of $37.71 is derived from data all across the city and not just that location?
We enter all the city data, but the particular we have different models for this is that's the Sterling Lion Parkway area. It has a particular data set we calculate. Then that trend driven by that area rent reported.
Okay. And what building is this?
This is the new outlet mall.
Okay. I see there's no reported rent. Why is that?
It is a temporary tenant. The way owner reported rents for us, they have
the owner of the mall.
Owner of the mall reported the rent for us. It has a categories. It has anchor tenants and big tenants, and I can't remember exact naming they use, but this tenant listed as under the temporary tenant, and they did not report the rent. That's why we use the model-driven. Even that's why I put the not applicable and temporary tenant.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Couple from that. Where do you get the square footage from?
This one, that's the unit size. When we entered the model.
Is that the unit size or the amount they're leasing?
This is the unit size.
What if they're not leasing the books? Have you been in the store?
This particular one, no. We don't inspect these days, and we are not inspecting any of the inside. We can go drive by. I went to the shopping mall many times, but not take off inspection of this property.
Is that the same square footage you used last year?
I think yes, because we did not amend any square footage for this time.
Okay, we'll hear from you.
I'm just wondering, is the location of this building in the actual mall located on Sterling?
It is
Like
the
the
outlet
large
mall.
out-
Yeah,
it is
it's
part of the
inside
large-
inside the
Okay.
large outlet.
So it's not one of the smaller
No,
standalone?
no.
Okay.
No.
All right. And your comparables? I'm assuming
Those,
are they, it's so trendy tots, I'm assuming that's clothing for children? You're not aware?
No.
So your red comparables, are they all,
Similar type of unit, but it's not based on the what they sell,
okay,
but because it's a mall, anyone can sell shoes or clothes or anything
right,
anywhere.
right.
Those are I basically focus on the unit size,
Right.
but what the size is, then based on these information.
And once again, are any of these big name brands on your red comparables?
I don't think so. You mean it could be something like Ricky's or
So
something?
you don't have the names?
For this one, no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, it could be combination.
Right.
But it's a unit size,
Right.
and because it's not, as my understanding, as for information we have, based on the Ricky's or based on the someone else, they don't change the rent that much. It's the unit size and the unit location and the unit.
So I just have a question in regards under your subject lease information. So this was a temporary?
That's how owner reported.
Okay. So just wondering, and I understand given your workload, because you don't have an actual rent,
Because
you wouldn't have contacted to find out, because then it's just left.
if I read our annual, what is the annual rental value? The annual rental value or ARV is the amount for which the space your business occupies will typically rent. The ARV does not necessarily equal to the rent actually paid for the space. It is representative of prevailing rent for similar space in the rental market. That's how our website tells. That's how we got instructed. Then we don't necessarily need to go and ask everyone's contract rent, because sometimes contract rents are higher than market rent, sometimes lower than market rent. We don't rely on what actually they are paying. They are paying their rent. Lease might be so many things, motivation involved, then we cannot rely on that information.
I got one more for you. On your comparables, are we going all the way up to September 2018 now?
You're right. My apology for that one. Yes.
Because the rent seems to be going down as we.
Yes, I only put one in. I my apologize for I put 2018 September 1.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll
That's
take
my
that
mistake.
on.
Great. Mr. Busky, if you'd like to give us your presentation?
Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah, I guess our first point is that there's a little bit of discrepancy in regards to the square foot that's shown on our lease as to what's shown on the tax assessment. It's only about 10 square feet in that regard, but it's nonetheless, it's still less than what it's showing on the assessment. And then even on this could be a mall error, but on the diagram that the mall gave us, that is actually 141 square feet difference from what the assessment is. So I haven't measured the store myself to find out the exact square footage, but there's definitely a discrepancy of some sort there. And then I guess in addition to what Reed said, I mean, if they were able to lease that space for what the annual rental value is currently showing, they probably would. Like, they're able to give us a 30-day notice at any point, and remove us, then put maybe a national brand in there or someone that they feel is better suited for that space. And then also about 752 square feet of our store is a storage room. It's not even usable space to conduct our business. And in that storage room, the mall is still storing the mannequins and other fixturing from the previous tenant. So we don't even have full use of that storage room. And then we also did an annual rental value comparison within the mall. And we picked a couple stores. So for example, Roots, which is directly across from the food court, actually has a lower annual rental value than we do. And we aren't even on one of the main alleyways of the mall. So I think there is kind of a diagram that we included in the evidence that shows sort of where we're situated in relation to where Roots is situated. And I know when you go to get a lease, you definitely are subject to higher rental rates when you lease across from a food court because it's a highly sought after area just based on the traffic volume that goes in and around that area.
So I guess the one question that we would probably have is are the comparables, like I think some of the units are around us, but does the statistical model take into any account where in proximity is to key points in the mall when calculating the value? I guess my question is there any variant that's put into the model for, I would say, being close to an anchor location or like food court or main entrances?
Because there's currently 9 vacant spots in that mall, and those spots have pretty much been vacant since the day that the mall opened. And one of the major anchors, you can probably see by one of the maps there too, was Forever 21, and they're now gone. So we have a huge vacant spot almost directly adjacent to our store, which is a little bit detrimental. And then the spot that was beside us was vacant. There's been 4 or 5 different tenants in and out of that space in the last year and a half. So that definitely affects what we feel is the rental value for our location too, being that it's not a highly sought after location within the mall.
Yeah, and I guess another thing I wanted to point out is our lease has been this. So we've been a temporary tenant. This is going on our second year, a 1-year term lease. So we've completed a 1 full year already, and that was last year. And our rental value has not increased year over year, just given the number of vacant spots. They had upwards of like 13 or 14 previously vacant stores in that mall. So the rents or the lease, however you want to what term you want to use, has stayed the same year over year, yet the assessed value has doubled year over year. And I guess not having that information from the property management or owner might play a factor in it because there's no other, I guess, human look at it than punching numbers into a model, basically.
Because right now we're paying about 49% less than what the annual rental value for that spot is. So about 10% of our rent is being paid in business taxes as well. So that's definitely hard for a small business to be able to understand how that rate can be come to.
Do you have any other points? I think that's basically the key points we wanted to touch on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, you will pay attention to your lease. Can you tell me what is the correct leasable area? I can correct in our system. The leasable area, I'm not talking about the storage, but the area you lease from the owner. You told about the discrepancy.
Sorry, the area that we use to conduct our business?
No, you very beginning you talk about the discrepancy. Can you tell me the number you actually leased out from the owner?
We lease out the total amount, whatever is on the lease. So
okay.
The 24.
No, 20. Our lease says 2,393 square feet. So it's about 10 square feet less than what the assessment
Okay,
shelves.
that's right. And also you mentioned about the storage, which is you don't use. Can you explain a little bit about the storage unit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually a hard space to lease out because of the size of the storage unit. There's not very many stores that need that much space. So there is 752 square feet of storage. And because we're a small business, we don't have that much backstop. And I know in the previous leases, they didn't even include it in the lease because they didn't want to charge the tenant per square foot for that size of storage space when they knew they weren't going to use it.
Okay, did they include that storage in your lease? That 700 square feet storage? It's included in your lease, or it is not included in your lease?
It is included in the lease. Yeah, we pay for it. We have access to it.
You use for that that space. That's what you are trying to tell. It is included in your lease, but you are not using it. That's what you try to explain.
Yeah, like we use very minimal of it, and they have some storage back there as well. So basically, it's non-revenue generating for us. I mean, it serves really not much of a purpose for us. I mean, we have little backs. We might use like 5% of the total storage space back there. So that square footage, like it's basically meaninless to us because we can essentially conduct our business without having that storage space.
Okay, did you discuss with the owners about the removing that space from your lease?
We have a new lease coming up starting in October, and it will be removed from the lease as far as, but like we haven't confirmed that with them, but that's our presentation to them that we are no longer paying to use that space.
Okay, that's all my question. Thank you.
Just a question about your statement that the assessment doubled. Are you talking about the previous tenant's assessment versus your current one, or were you talking about yours from the last year versus this year's?
Ours. So our what we paid in taxes last year to what we're paying this year has doubled.
The tax amount has doubled. Do you know? Well, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. So last year it was assessed at about 47,000, I think. And actually I have the exact number here. 47,340. And this year it's assessed at 96,480.
So we've been paying the taxes on that amount,
since beginning of the year.
Yours is CRU 201, correct?
That is correct.
In your information, it's showing the leasable area is 1,500 square feet. And it's showing the total area of 2,262. And you can actually calculate where your store is by the measurements that are on there. And it does come out to 1,500 square feet of leasable space. Have you seen that, Marina? It's on their evidence?
I see the evidence. They actually lease 2,393 square feet, and actually they have a storage, but it is included their lease, storage of 750. That's why I asked the question, do they negotiate with the owner to remove that space from their lease? Whenever they remove it, we can adjust, amend the area.
Because it's showing up as the leasable space as 1,500 square feet on this diagram that they submitted.
But that's the diagram they submitted.
Yeah, well, from the mall. It's the mall diagram. You see it?
I saw that one before I come. Yeah, I checked those ones. Because I think what we are doing, we use the unit size, then we go with the unit size in the lease. But whenever they amend the lease, whenever they amend the unit size, we can amend that space for 1,500. It's no problem with us at all. I talked to actually one of the field assistants also before I came in, what they actually do for those locations. Then they told about if the lease amended for the represent the correct new area, they would do the adjustment. And yes, I agree. And also, but that's the decision of the business owner because they are not using it, but they can use it. They have access for that location storage, but they are told the business decision not to use it. That's why it's still in our system.
But the outlet mall is using it for some of their storage.
But it is not confirmed by the, why it's, can I ask the question again from them?
Sure.
Yeah. Can I know the storage location behind your unit used by you or the outlet mall?
Both of us. They have some stuff in there that, I mean, they've just left like old mannequins, some plants that I think they either kicked the previous tenant out or I'm not sure what happened there. So whatever they kind of had is just all in the back room. Not saying that if we asked them, they wouldn't remove it. They probably would. But I mean, like, we use a very small percentage of that room. So yeah, we do have some stuff back there. It takes up a very small percentage. And then the mall has some stuff that when we moved in there, they just never cleaned out and we never asked them to clean it out. So
Having said that, that means they actually not used as a storage, that those are the abandoned stuff from the either alternate or the outlet mall or something there, but you don't need them and you did not request them to remove it. Is that correct?
that is correct, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any further questions?
No.
I'm looking at a picture on my screen, and I think it is the said storage room. Did you include a picture of it?
Yes.
Yes, we did, yeah.
Okay. So it is showing, first picture, it's showing a box of hangers, looks like a recycling bin, and a couple of other boxes and bags. Is that yours?
No, those are all the malls that they left in there.
Okay. It's also showing a door, an access door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the door that couriers would use to drop off our deliveries.
Okay. So they're dropping off your deliveries. So are the owners using that door also? Are they coming through?
No.
No.
I'm assuming they can't enter your premises through that door.
Could.
They could if they wanted to. They would really have no reason to.
So you don't
Other
have,
than to access their stuff that's in there.
so you don't have a photo of where your stuff is stored, where your product is.
It's
These four
right where those hangers are. We have one rack of clothing there. That's it. One rack in the entire storage room.
Thank you. And I'm just wondering, what is the number you're actually looking for? I don't have that.
The number for which? Sorry.
What number are you actually looking for? The city?
Like for an annual rental value? We would like it to be somewhere close to where it was last year because that's very similar to what we are actually paying in rent for that location. Like we realize that year over year, hopefully things get better within the mall and that there may be a slight increase, but we just felt that doubling it year over year was a little bit drastic, especially since we can't even use 752 square feet of the space to conduct our business out of.
Okay. Sorry, but can you give me an actual number, please?
We would like it to be at 50,000.
50,000.
50,000. Thank you. Any further questions, Pam? Norman?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming this morning and your patience.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being patient with us and getting a connection.
All right, thank you. Mr. Froelich, if you'd like to come forward.
Number 5?
How about if I sit here and
Sure.
That's fine. I couldn't recognize you, so.
sorry, my apologies.
Oh, that's who it is. No, that's fine.
That's who I am. I didn't know how much distancing.
It's him. It's him.
It's I,
So I'll just affirm you before we begin. Will you please state your name?
Thomas Gordon Fallon.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And panel, we are at number 5. Sorry, I'm just getting to this. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address 1000 1120 Grant Avenue. Our business ID 50207. Business owner Landmark Cinema Canada GP Limited. This is the cinema theatre in the Grand Park Mall. Our original annual rental value based on the $17.35 per square feet for this location. It was calculated as a final annual rental value $670,920. The theatre is paying lease on this premises. Lease started in 2015 January 1st. This is 9-year, 8-month lease on $12 rent. And this property, for the realty assessment, we use the $12 per square feet per property to calculate the property value for the Grand Park Mall. Today my comparables are the theaters in Winnipeg. Those are not actually direct comparables. We cannot compare the Polo Park to the Grand Park Theatre. But the theatre business in Winnipeg, we have very limited information. We have very limited rent comparables. I'm basically focusing on vertical activity on how the cinema theatre works in Winnipeg. The best cinema theatre in Winnipeg we consider as the Polo Park. They are paying $32.75 per square feet. Second one we consider as the St. Vital Mall Theatre. They are paying $24.97 per square feet. Third one we consider as the McGillivray Cinema Theatre.
Sorry, what?
McGillivray Boulevard Cinema Theatre. They are paying $19.89 per square feet. Those are the kind of hierarchy based on how many, in my second page showing how many theaters they have, how many amenities they have, how many screens they have. Then when we consider those information, actually Landmark Cinema in the 4th place in the Winnipeg theatre business, that's why we think about the $12, and $12 is appropriate for this kind of theatre. Looking at this verticality, looking at the comparables, like Polo Park is the best, paying $32. St. Vital is the second, paying $24, and McGillivray is paying $19. And I think it's fair the Grand Park Mall Cinema for the $12 per square feet, which is reported rent, but I think it's the appropriate rent for this location, this cinema. And the KP, Kildonan Place Cinema, pay $8.16, which is lower in the amenity of the cinema. It fall in the 4th place for this cinema business. So this cinema theaters. So I'm asking to reduce the ARV based on $12 per square feet to annual total ARV $489,660 today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Rowena, could you repeat that number?
Okay,
please?
489,660. 660.
And I'm sorry, what was the square footage again? It's not the ARV dollars.
amount, 489.
No.
Square foot.
It's 12.
$2 per square, sorry. $2 per square. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, good morning, if I may.
Do you accept this number, Mr. Pulliam?
No.
No. Okay.
If I had, we wouldn't be here.
Okay.
The assessor and I had a very candid discussion of our positions, and I appreciate her bringing it forward, but it's not an amount that's agreeable to the tenant.
This is questions right now. The
Right.
assessor.
When you say that Polo Park, Simbital, and McGilvery are the upper end,
Yes.
and then you place Landmark just below that, would you agree with me that having party rooms and having licensed lounge and VIP lounges is significantly better than what the Landmark has at Grand Park?
Amenity-wise, yes.
And again, you said that it's also based on number of screens. Well,
All the amenities.
so the Grand Park is a multi-screen with 8 screens. And again, Cineplex, Silver City, and Scotia all are over 10 screens.
That's true. That's why they are paying $32 per square feet and $24 per square feet.
But McGilvery is paying $19.89 with 11 screens and event screens, licensed lounge, and VIP reception. Now, granted, you've reduced the assessment to $12 from what you originally had at $17. Would you not agree with me that those amenities are worth probably well in excess of the differential in rent between 1989 and 12? I mean, it's hard to put a number on it, but it's $7.89 difference. That can't be attributed just to screen size and amenities.
But also the location wise, it's a very close proximity. It's a better location at the newly renovated, and it has the party room, and it has the other good screen, the 3D and everything. That's why we put it in the 4th place in the Grand Park. But it is obvious better than the Kildonan place. And actually, I totally agree with you. It in comparison to either Polo Park or the St. Vital, because we don't have any rent comparables here. If I try to find the correct comparables to Grand Park Theatre, I cannot find it. I bring the verticality. That's why my solution.
Yeah, I understand, and you indicated that the city used $12 a square foot in the realty assessment settlement with the owners, and that's the contract rent.
Yes.
Looking at Kildonan, which you have at 816, and I have different numbers in my portfolio that I understand it is. So, can you tell me what you know about the lease at 1555 Regent?
I checked the the rent roll for this cycle. Then you can see it's a February 1st, 2018 for 1 year lease. I believe this is the rent they paid for 2018 reference period. And I know they used to pay lower amount. I really don't know after that 1 year how much they are paying, because it's a post reference. I did not check. They might pay higher than $8.16. I don't know.
Do you know if the $8.16 they paid in Kildonan was a gross or a net rent? Was the rent at Regent, at 1555 Regent, was that a gross rent or a net rent? that is $8.16.
I believe it's a net rent.
And finally, just looking at Regent as you know it, and looking at landmarks at Grant Park as you know it, would you think that Landmark was 50% better than Regent? I mean, it's hard to how to put a material number on it, but just globally, you think it's 50% higher in value?
Based on the location and the college and everything, I think we believe it's a better. It's not even my suggestion. Even when we review the cinema theater, the rent, we believe Grand Park Cinema is in the fourth place. That's what we kind of the past cycle, this cycle we believe that way. That's why I'm thinking it's better.
Those are my questions.
In previous applications, you have relied on the model rent rather than the contract rent. If I can paraphrase, I understand because you believe that there's equity in using that. Here, you're moving away from that. And am I correct in understanding that it is because you don't have good comparables, but you have ordered the contract rents and all the other cinemas?
Yeah, on two reasons. One, we don't have any comparables for this one to tell about this is the best comparable for this one. Then also we review the cinema theater rents from past cycle, this cycle. Then also $12 is not unreasonable rent. It is a contract, but the contract based on it. If we see the hierarchy, it's kind of in between $19 and $8. It's kind of based on the location and everything. We can believe this is the fair rent. If we do, we cannot model those numbers. That's why we go with the $12. It might be better in $13.50, $14, but we don't have any ground to stand on and tell about this. It should be.
Why do you say that this has no comparables when in other situations you compare buildings that aren't exactly the same? There are differences, and yet you use comparables. Why is this different?
But if we consider about the Polo Park unit, we can compare the unit to unit, even though they are selling, one sell the shoes, one sells the clothing, one sells the toys, but those are the units within the Polo Park. Then everyone it has the same facilities, same amenities, same crowd, and then one moved out, other tenant can move in, no matter what they sell. But this cinema theater, but we cannot compare like that. We cannot compare to Grand Park. If the Grand Park Cinema Landmark moved out, who is going to come and get that location as it is? That's the problem we are facing. That's why we are telling you we don't have a comparables, because Polo Park Cinema is a very huge, big facility. Who is going to? I don't know. It's really hard to compare those ones. That's why we more lenient going with the vertical.
You have the rents from McGilvery and from Portage Avenue, those being 20-year lease terms. One of them from 1999, the other from 2007. What are the implications for the differences between that and, say, the Regent and the St. Mary's ones, which are much more recent leases?
But we don't have any leases after that date, because 1999, then the next 20-year lease end up in 2019. We are waiting to see the next lease, what will be, but we don't have that information yet. to put it there. Those are actually the $32.75. It's a step-up lease. They have a lease term. Every 5 years they increase and increase and increase. I don't have all of those information.
Do you ever make an argument about how valid a reported rent is if it's a 20-year-old lease compared with a new lease? Do you ever make that comparison?
Yes. Of course, new lease is better, but we don't have any other leases than these leases. That's all the leases we have.
Okay, that's all my questions.
No, I'm good.
Just had one question. Was this property, has it gone to the muni board on the realty side?
You mean the landmark cinema? I know we signed the 2020 cycle. It was, I think, 15-1 we signed for this property, but I don't think about we have mini board for any Grand Park. I don't check it. But I know 2020 reality is the 15-1 as I remember. I checked it, but I can't remember exactly.
Okay, thank you.
But $12 we use for realty also.
Roland, you would like to give us your presentation?
Yes, I have a brief, surprisingly it is brief, it's only 2 pages, which I had submitted in writing. I'm not going to read it. I think it's there available, but I will highlight it. As you know, it's a multi-screen cinema in Grand Park Shopping Center in River Heights part of the city. Plenty of parking. The mall is enclosed, built in 1964. Have had renovations throughout its history. The last ones through 2011 through 2013. It's got 2 anchor tenants, a 57,000 square foot Red River Co-op, which was formerly Safeway, and an 86,000 square foot Canadian Tire store. Other than that, there are about 70 stores in the shopping mall. Landmark Cinemas, known as Grand Park Cinemas, has been leased on the current lease from January 2015 to August 2024. So it's a lease that's certainly is coming into closer to the index here this year. The base rent does not include the mezzanine, and by agreement with the city in 2018 before this board, the space that was used for the projection area was removed as being technically obsolescent, and that's pretty much how all cinemas are now assessed in the city. So we're in agreement. It's a 33,886 square foot property. Base rent is $12 a square foot, but respectfully submitted that it is not market rent, and it requires going beyond just the reported rent that was given to the city at the time of the realty tax appeal. The lease itself is what it is, $12 a square foot. It includes a number of amenities provided by the landlord that bring it up to that rate. Some of those amenities no longer exist. The cinema was redone. So as a result, while it's still $12 a square foot, it includes more than just the base rent. I think a good proxy for Grand Park, notwithstanding the assessor's position that there are no rent comparables, I think a good proxy is 1555 Regent, which is the Kildonan Place Cinemas. My information is a little different than the assessors. My information comes from the material submitted to the City of Winnipeg under oath and the realty tax appeal. And the original base rent in Kildonan Place, or the Kildonan Cinemas, was $6.50 a square foot. based on a plan area of 25,973. The reported comparable, as the city has on its brief, is 31,843 square feet at $8.16. And I know that's a February 1, 2018 lease. So clearly it has subsumed the original lease. However, the square footage is off because that cinema as well has a projection area that should be excluded. The agreement between the landlord and the tenant, as I understand it, is that they got away from the per square foot lease and went to a box office revenue or $10 a square foot, gross, not net, gross. So the rent that the landlord is reporting is based on the gross rent that the cinema is paying in the mall. My understanding is that it has never reached the percentage rent level, so it never paid any more than $10 face gross, which if you take out the operating costs, my understanding is it was $3.50 a square foot, brings it back to the original $6.50. The discrepancy between the assessor's number at $8.15 and my number at $6.50, or actually at $5.71, may be as a result of an adjustment in the operating costs that the tenant would be subsuming in its gross rent. So I have no truck with the $8.15 reported by the assessor. I expect that's based on the February 2018 lease rather than what I'm looking at, which is an earlier lease. But having said that, there's also no doubt that Grand Park is more desirable than Regent. But within the context of the size of the cinema and the number of screens and the amenities it provides, they're pretty even. If you look at even the assessor's number of reported area of 31,000, it's a little more than my reported area, which is what I had was 25,973. But even then, it's smaller than Landmark at Grand Park. So Kildonan is the smallest of the three, but not by a long margin. It's a couple of 3,000 square feet less than Grand Park. Whereas if you look at the McGilvery, St. Mary's, and Portage, they are all substantially larger. McGilvery is 42,000 square feet, St. Mary is 66,000, and Portage Avenue, Polo Park is 77,000. Interesting to note, based on the assessor's submission, that the value per square foot increases with the size of the cinema. And it goes from $8.16 at the smallest to $32.75 the largest. And the increases are pretty consistent as the sizes increase. And that's not magic. The larger the cinema, the more seats and more bums in the seats, more revenue, more concessions, higher rent can be extracted. So the driver, as I understand the cinema business in the city, is really number of seats and the additional revenue that can be derived from concession. Fact is, most cinemas make as much money on concessions as they do on tickets. And I think that the city knows those numbers very well. They're submitted every year. So what we have here, by way of the comparison I'm suggesting, is the fair proxy, is a lease signed 2 months before the index date for Regent Avenue, February 1, 2018. The index date is April 2018. So it's as close as we're going to get to the index number. It's $8.16, and I would submit to you that's after the rent is paid gross and is reduced for the operating expenses. So it's $8.16 net. But the adjustment may not be directly inaccurate. And as a result of that, I think it's more likely that Grand Park will be at the lower end of the scale than at the higher end, starting at $19. And I think the city has said, we understand that. We picked $12 as the number because that's your case rent. I think a reasonable number is $10.80 per square foot. And that's not a number that I take out of the hat. This is supported by the city of Winnipeg's resulting assessment for the shopping center before this board, for this assessment cycle on the realty tax basis. In its analysis to come to an agreement with the owner, remember, I don't represent the owner, I represent the tenant. The deal that was struck with the owner is a deal they struck, but we're bound by it because it's a decision of this board. So in doing that, the contributed value of the shopping, of the cinema to the shopping center space occupied by Landmark was significantly reduced. It started at the original 2020 assessment. The contribution of the space was $9,262.15, or $315. That was the basis of the valuation of the whole shopping center, which was over $100 million. This particular component provided $9,260,000 value. When the settlement occurred with the city, the same space, its contribution was reduced to $5,760,411. That's a reduction of 37.81% from the initial assessment. So if I now look at the math, applying the same percentage of reduction for this revision will result in a net market of $365,630. Cost to occupy doesn't change; it remains at $83,021, with the resulting annual rental value for the premises of $448,651, rounded to $448,650. That's the number that the tenant is submitting to you as being the ARV. The city's recommendation is $489,660. We're about $41,000 apart. But the city's ability to pick a fair proxy for this rent really consists of taking face rent. My fair proxy, I would submit to you, or the tenant's fair proxy for picking this rent is based on a fair comparison with other cinemas, being Kildona, taking the date of that lease into consideration, taking the size of the premises into consideration, taking the location into consideration, and finally taking into consideration the city's reduced assessment of the realty of the whole and whatever portion this contributes. So I think, with greatest respect to the assessor, and I would submit to you, this tenant has done its homework and has presented a reasonable argument for picking the proxy, not at face value of the rent, but at the recommended value of $10.08. Those are my comments.
Thank you.
Better get a glass of water.
I know. Where did you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question actually is related to the Kildona place size. You are mentioned about 25,972,
Yes,
which is not including the
not including the reception area or the projection area.
projection area. Okay.
The information that I have, and I'm taking it from the sworn testimony
Okay.
at the appeal, the realty assessment appeal, because as I said, I don't represent the owner. Arm's length lease for comparable cinema at Kildonan Place is considered. Annual rent as of April 2018 is $650, based on a plan area of 25,973 square feet. That does not include 5,870 square foot of mezzanine. So that's where my number comes from.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all my question.
Thank you. Mr. Borowski?
You're saying that the projection room is excluded as square footage to be accounted for?
That is correct. That's done for all cinemas now. When they moved from the old arc lamp projectors to effectively video screens in these cinemas, all of that space is no longer required. Now they run it off the computer, much like you have in front of you. They don't need a projectionist. They don't need projection rooms. All of that space is now technically obsolescent, not included in Kildonan, not included in any of the cinemas. And if you may not recall, I used to do the one at North Portage, and that's when the technology started to change. And when they couldn't make the change in technology, they closed the cinema.
So for realty assessment purposes, that's regarded as functional obsolescence and excluded as part of the square footage?
That is correct.
Still in the lease? Like, what is the
lease itself deletes it. The lease provides that there is this 3,500 square foot projection on the mezzanine, and the lease clearly states mezzanine is not included in that.
The realty decision that you're using as the basis, or part of the basis of this, was that an agreement between the owner and the assessor, or did that go to the board of revision?
It was before the board of revision and before it was heard. The city and the owner settled.
They settled.
These are the settlement.
So it was a signed.
That's right.
Assessor agreement. Okay, that's all my questions.
I've got no questions.
Would you like to redirect?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I checked the numbers. 650 at 650 per square feet at 31,843, and $8.16 at 25,973, which is
number?
very close. Very close. I think it's the two interpretation.
Okay.
The same number.
All right. So you and I are on the same page.
Same page. The math is different. Because one includes the projection room, one does not include the projection room. That's my assumption, looking at the numbers at there.
That would make sense, because I know that my source is accurate, and I have no doubt that your source is accurate. So they must have applied a different version of reality.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. And if no one has further questions, this is included here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for waiting.
No problem, Michael. You learn something every time you wait in these things. Just give you respect.
We always learn when you come before.
5 minutes.
Good morning, and I'd like to call this meeting back to order. And we are going to hear 1225 St. Mary's Road. Yeah.
So Jim, can you please state your full name?
My name is Jim Cordingly.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Start with the assessor first.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address 3A 1225 St. Mary's Road, Business Assessment ID 51698, Business name Kaitan Kabudu, Business owner Windworks Inc. This property has a permit area of 4,941 square feet. We use the market rent of $34.89 to calculate annual rental value of $184,500. This property provides the lease information for this property. Lease started in February 1st, 2017 for 2-year lease, signed on $21.86 per square feet. I have put rent comparables here, 4 rent comparables from the same property, 1225 St. Mary's Road, which is St. Vital Mall rent. My rental rate varied from $29.89 to $50 per square feet. I focus mainly on the permit size. Size is 4,941 for this subject tenant location. My rental rate comparables also in the 4,000 range, starting 4,015 square feet to 4,874. Based on this information, I'm asking to confirm the ARV. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did you have any questions of what the assessor has just presented, sir?
Yes, I just a few questions about the comparables. You show unit 32. I'm wondering if you can tell me who that is. Based on the map that I have from the mall, there is no unit 32.
Okay, I can go one by one. Unit 8 is Urban Raji. Unit 17 is Children's Place. Unit 32 is Both House. And Unit 71 is
Bootlegger?
Bootlegger, yes.
Okay, so the map I have shows Boathouse is unit 31. That's fine. And all of the leases that you're showing are all chain stores, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you know the lease for unit 8? Who is it? Who did you say unit 8 was?
Urban Raji.
Okay, because I show that as BCBG on the map, and they were the tenant there. I'm just wondering if we've got the right information there.
Okay.
Also, was that a renewal? Do you know? Like that seems like a very short lease period for a chain.
It is a 1 year, 2 months lease. Either it could be renewal or the temporary lease. I cannot say much information about that.
Okay. And I guess the rest of it is fine. I understand that. Okay. No, that's the other thing I should note is that our lease is actually for 2 years and 1 month. It's a 25 month lease. That's all I have at this point.
Thank you. Mr. Barsky?
The comparables, that's a pretty large spread in the rent. Why is there such a difference in rates, given the fact that reported areas are not that much different?
Yeah, it's really hard to see the pattern. I see the 5-year leases are higher and longer the leases are lesser the per square feet. But it's not applied for the first lease. It's a 1-year lease and approximately $30 per square feet. I went through actually entire rent roll going through because I tried to find the 4,000 square feet range leases close to the subject. Then I went through the rent one by one manually. So I saw the big range. Honestly, I cannot say why because I did not see any detailed lease information.
So the comps are close to the subject, which is where in the mall?
It is really hard to answer because it has a total wings.
You're not sure where it is in the mall?
No, I cannot tell it.
Okay, but these comparable units are close to it.
Yeah, and
there are others at about the same size, but farther away from the subject.
Yeah, there are some, but I cannot 100% tell in my mind. For some reason, I picked those rent. I cannot tell why. Also, I went through a whole list of leases. And also, I try to stick with not the post-reference rent too, because some rents are post-reference. I cannot use the post-reference. I try to find the leases are signed in the close time period, about 2017, which is the subject lease time. Those are the things I focus on.
Okay, that's all my questions.
Could I just ask a couple more questions?
Yeah, just at the end, sir. We're just
Okay.
around the
Sure.
panel. Thank you. Mr. Roman?
So I'm going to wait for the presentation. Cool.
I just wanted to, I didn't quite hear you. Who is the second on your right on your tenants?
Children's place. Children's place. Children's.
Oh, children's place. Sorry.
Okay, I guess I'm going to have to come back.
Sorry, you would like to ask a question now? Go ahead.
Mark had started on this because the variable is so great, but February 2014 at $50, down to that $30 on the next one. Are they not pretty close together, these two? No, they're not.
One is a 5-year lease, one is a 10-year lease. One is a 5-year lease, one is a 10-year lease.
Yeah.
It might have.
But you got another 5 years at 5 and 14. I'll leave it. Let's hear what Jim has to say.
Sir, go ahead and ask your questions of the assessor. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. When you look at those rental values, maybe this is a comment or more than anything, values within the mall are varied based on their location, generally with proximity to center court, and also in terms of traffic flow. So for St. Vital Center, the main traffic flow primary locations, if you will, were between Sears and the food court, the path that travels that distance. So when you've selected these comparables, some of them are within that main alley, if you will, in the prime area, and we are on the far end of one of the non-prime locations. Do you take that into consideration at all when you do that evaluation?
It is one of the factor. It is legit factor where you locate. But I try to find the comparables by the size similar to you. That's why I got these comparables. I understand what you're telling me.
Okay. Yeah, in the case of like bootlegger, for example, it would be in the absolute prime location in terms of the four that you've selected here. It's very close to the center court and the food court, so it's in that last alley is the highest rent section of the mall. And just for your reference, our space is located just.
Sorry, if you'd like to we didn't hear that last part, but if you would like to give us your presentation now, and you can include what you just said, because you.
Absolutely. Are you getting me okay? I just got a note that my internet connection was unstable. Are we okay?
Froze for a moment, so we didn't quite hear what you last said.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I will give you my presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, so our space is a space that we rented. It was formerly the Gap, and in May of 2017, when the outlet collection opened and added 570,000 square feet to the retail market in Winnipeg, the Gap was one of the retailers that chose to vacate St. Vital Centre and move to that location. And St. Vital Centre has had numerous empty spots. In my evidence package, I gave you a map showing December 2017 that had 11 empty spaces, as well as the bay. So when it came time for us to be in the mall, we could not afford to be in the mall. And when all of this started to happen, the value of the mall, the vacancy rates went way up. And the reality of the mall was that the rents were not representative of what the space was worth at this point. So when we went in and negotiated our lease was set, as you can see, I think for February 1st of 2017 at $9,000 per month, and that is a gross value. There's no additional costs in terms of that. Everything is included in that. And the reason we were able to get that value or that rent was because the reality was that nobody wanted to lease the space. And in fact, most of those spaces are still empty. Some of them that have been filled by people moving from other locations within the mall to a more desirable location. Some of them were some downsizes because of course the retail market is changing drastically, and it continues to deteriorate. I did a quick survey just to give you a sense of the trend. There is, I believe, 19 empty spaces now in the mall, and another 3 that will probably be vacated within the next month or so. And that doesn't include anything that's going to be fallout from COVID and all that. These are just based largely on U.S. companies going bankrupt and spaces being emptied through bankruptcies. So the space is available. We were able to go in and say, this is what we think the value of the space is. The mall agreed with us, and they set a lease for us at that rate, which is basically $108,000 for the year. And the appraisal is significantly higher than that. And really, we're in a position where if we were having to pay the rents as it's been appraised, we wouldn't be in the mall. The mall does not support that type of value. The traffic isn't there. It wasn't there in 2018, and it certainly isn't there now. So, I understand we're looking at March of 2018 for the evaluation, and certainly at that point, things had decreased drastically. When the bay closed, we lost 6% traffic right off the top. The mall headcount dropped 6%. So it's very clear that things are not the same. And so leases that were signed in 2010, for example, as you compare, that to me would be absolutely irrelevant. 2014 is getting closer, but it's really probably not relevant. I would suggest that anybody that's paying that kind of rent is probably in line to be heading for bankruptcy and moving out of the mall. So basically, that's it. We are not in an ideal location in the mall. We are one of many stores that were vacant, and we've taken over that one at a rent that we feel is reasonable, and we would anticipate that the valuation for taxation would also be based on that reasonable rent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My brief indicated your reported contract rent is $21.86 per square feet. Is that right?
Yes, it's basically 9,000 a year is the way our rent is calculated, but I believe that's what it calculates out to. That's the same value you're showing on your report, so I assume that's it.
Thank you. That's all my question.
Thank you. Mr. Borowski?
It said something about, was it 950 or something like that as rent? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I've got a good understanding of what your contract rent is.
Our rent is $9,000 per month.
9,000 per month. Okay.
Yeah.
And the 2186.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are located where?
We're three doors down from the bay.
Oh, okay. All right, that's all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Lorado?
And your lease was signed in 2017, you said, right, Jim?
Yes. That lease began February 1st, 2017.
Would there not be a number of new leases that have occurred since between then and April 1st of 2018?
Actually, there were probably more leases that were terminated in that period of time. There would have been no new leases. I don't believe there have been any actual new leases or new tenants within that period. I think there was at least a year and a half, and then we did get one new tenant opened in the fall, and that's the first new tenant I think that's been in the mall, probably since 2016.
Okay. So you're asking for a total value of, you can give us a number.
It's 108,000.
108,000?
Yes.
Even? That's using the 2186 square foot.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I've got no other questions.
My questions have been asked and answered, so thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time and for waiting.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes, we are moving on to 1555 Regent Avenue, Unit K6.
Journal, email, use caution.
Bernard, if you can hear us, we just need you to unmute yourself, please.
Were signed in 2010, for example, as you compare that.
Screen down or turn the volume right down. So there's no interference. Can you hear us in the room now, Bernard?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, great. So we're ready to start with your item. Before we begin,
Okay.
I'll ask you to be affirmed. So can you please state your full name?
Bernard Beaudry.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good morning, Mr. Beaudry.
Good morning.
We're going to be starting with our assessor this morning.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address K6 1555 Regent Avenue West. Property business assessment ID 51512. Business name Printer Refills. Business owner Magician Design 2002 Inc. This is the kiosk in the Kildonan Place. The permit area is 149 square feet. We use base ARV of $249 per square feet to calculate annual rental value. Our annual rental value calculated $37,440. The tenant is on a longer lease. Lease started in 2005, April 1st. It is 12 years and 11 months lease, $480 per square feet. My rental comparables are kiosks. Those are combination of kiosks. Some are telephone stores and all sort of kiosks are there. All leases are start in 2010, some 16, 15, 17 leases. Longer leases are there, shorter leases are there. The pattern I can see is that if the leases is shorter, per square feet rate is higher. The leases is longer, per square feet rate is smaller. So based on these comparables, all the comparables from the regional, from Kildonan Place Shopping Center, based on this information, I'm asking to confirm the annual rental value. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did you have any questions, sir, of what the assessor has just presented?
Not really questions. I'm not in agreement with her, but that's
fine. We have questions.
Yeah.
So thank you. Mr. Boreski.
Okay, so the reported rent at 180, your model rent, based on a large population of properties is 249. What properties are included in determining that base rent of 249?
I believe it's the kiosk in the size of the smaller.
So your rent though.
Okay.
249 is from the model. It is from a large population of examples. I'll put it that way. What are those examples? Where does this come from? They're all just kiosks.
As I believe it's all kiosks.
Just kiosks.
Yeah, but it's a range of better kiosks. For some kiosks pay higher rent. Even the rent comparables, you can see some kiosks pay $385. Some kiosks pay $200. Even within the KP shopping center, within the same shopping center. But those kind of our 249 kind of in average. It's not exact average, kind of average.
Your comparable kiosks, 4 of them, are within Kildonan Place Mall.
Yes.
Your base ARV value at 249, is that based on all kiosks in the Kildonan Place Mall? Or is that all kiosks in all malls in Winnipeg?
I cannot answer that question. I don't have thorough understanding about the model design.
Would you suppose that
I
if you
believe
took all kiosks in Kildonan Place,
Yes.
the average of them would be substantially different than, say, all kiosks in Polo Park?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't tell us where the 249 is coming from.
No, I cannot tell what the analysis is.
That's all my question.
Thank you. So Laurent.
The subject lease information, on here, the lease is expired, has it not?
2012, yes, it should be 2005.
Do you have the current lease, or,
I don't know.
I mean, it expired a few years ago,
Yeah, 2 years ago.
so why would that be showing up?
I don't know the reason. I cannot tell. Why?
Would be post-reference.
Post reference is 2000.
Hmm?
What's post-reference?
Not necessarily. Could have been done in 17, right?
No.
We don't know
April
they
1st,
renew
2005 plus 3 years is April 1st,
12 years.
2000. No. 12
12
years,
years.
11 months.
So
So
13.
round it
Yeah,
off to 13.
yeah, it comes to
You're
just
Post
post
reference.
past April 1st.
Just,
They might not sign the lease too.
okay. Got no further questions on that.
Thank you. Do you know what is taking place business-wise in the, in your rent comparables in these other kiosks in the mall?
I don't have the list, but I know some telephone kiosks and the one jewelry one. Those are the kiosks. I'll check. Because most common kiosk is the telephone kiosk, Rogers and Terra and those type of ones, and the one jewelry.
Sir, would you like to give us your presentation?
Sure. Do I go in with some questions or just go in with a presentation?
No, just your presentation, sir.
Okay, number one, I'm going to go back 2 years here because when we started this, we were assessed 2 years ago. We never received the letter. And we never received the letter of assessment because the address was incorrect. And it's only when we were charged the taxation on the rent that we found out that there had been a change. And at that point, I contacted Jennifer, who was, I don't remember her last name, but who was working in the taxation department for the city of Winnipeg. And she told me that there was nothing to be done because I would have to wait 2 years before the next assessment. The other argument that I have with that, is that the location, Unit 6, is in Center Court, and we have never been in Center Court. We are at the extreme south side of the mall at Unit 1. Traffic is, of course, much lower at that end. Also, comparing our kiosk to cell phone kiosks is basically like comparing Sears to a kiosk as far as business traffic, the amount of business, the amount of income that is being made. The malls usually base their rents on the total gross sales of any business. That is at least one consideration, especially with kiosks. And our business, it runs at under 200,000 a year with 5 employees. With cell phone companies, the mall never sees the total amount of sales because after the first sale, payments are made to the head office. Also, At the time of the evaluation, Sears had just closed or was just closing. So we have lost close to 40% of the traffic that we had before, and our sales have dropped because of that. There has been 3 more storefronts at our end that have closed, with 2 more to close, one within a week, the other one due to bankruptcy soon. And the kiosk next to us is closed as well. So traffic at that end is very low. Yes, okay, so that's my initial presentation.
Okay, thank you. Before we proceed, sir, could you just confirm your mailing address for us?
Our mailing address is Unit 1 at 11555 Regent Avenue. If you look at the map I submitted in my the position, it shows that we are located on down by State Pond Road. I guess it's more west, where Sears used to be, which is K1. If you look at K6 number 1 is a much larger kiosk. It's at least 2 or 3 times the size of ours, and it is wireless services, which is another telephone company. So it's a little bit like telling me that my business is at Portage in Maine. Well, it's actually down at Higgins in Maine.
Okay, thank you for that. Loretta, did you have questions?
Only one question. In my brief, you can see I put as the April 1st, 2005, you signed the 12 years and 11 months lease for 180. Is that correct information?
I'm guessing it is. I don't have a copy of the lease. We haven't had a lease with the mall for approximately 5 years.
Okay.
We're on a month to month, and that is because we're not really sure what is happening with our business.
Do you know how much you pay for a month?
I do. It is, if you look at it, this is $2,235. That isn't really the full rent, because if you look at, I'm sorry, it's $2,235. Any additional amounts that we pay, which brings it up to about $3,000, includes heat, hydro. So that is not rent, that is services to the kiosk.
Okay, thank you, sir. Then $2,235, which is $180 per square feet. That is correct.
That's $180 per square foot, yes.
Thank you. That's all my question.
Mr. Borowski?
So is the assessor's information incorrect that the lease term was 12 years, 11 months, beginning April 1st, 2005? You said you have not had a lease for 5 years?
That is correct.
So what was the term of the lease from 2005?
Probably what it is now, I'm guessing, because our lease really hasn't changed. Well, maybe it may have changed. I do not have those numbers in front of me. All I know is that we were approached with the previous owner of the mall before Primaris, and they were comparing us to malls in Toronto. And I basically told them, we're not in Toronto. There's no way that they can assess us at the same value as a Toronto mall. And the Primaris came in. We had dealt with them with other businesses in Montreal, so we know what they are like as owners. And they came in and they accepted that we would go on a month to month, basically because even though we are maybe not bringing in the greatest amount of revenue to the mall per square foot, we do bring in a lot of people who from outside of the regular mall limits. So people come from as far as Brandon to buy toners or whatever. or to get refills because our prices are so much better.
So did you begin operation there on April 1st, 2005?
No, we actually began in on March 15, 2002.
Okay, and then you got a new lease in 2005. And that was not a multi-term lease? Are you saying that that is when you began month-to-month leases?
You know, I don't really remember. I know it's been over 5 years. That's about all I can remember.
Okay.
At all that we were also a franchise back until 2000 and roughly 2005. The franchise went bankrupt, and it was under the name of Island Inkjet. They had locations at Kildonan Place, St. Vital, and Polo Park. The Polo Park one went bankrupt about roughly 10 years after they opened. St. Vital moved out because they couldn't afford the rent at St. Vital. And we sort of managed to continue at KP.
Okay, thank you.
My questions are answered.
Sir, I just have one question in regards to your location. I'm looking at the map that you provided.
Yes.
Yes, I just want to make sure, so your property is not at the center court, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you are the other circled property on the left side of this.
Yes, K1 is our location.
Okay, so you've got the Shoppers, you had the Sears beside you.
Well, what was once Sears, yes.
Yeah. And that is still currently vacant?
Yeah, well, not only is it vacant, it's been taken down.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Are they rebuilding it?
I'm sorry?
I thought they were rebuilding that portion.
They're going to rebuild the theater, I think. I'm not sure exactly. Things keep changing, so we don't really know.
The new construction's on.
There's construction work going on. Yes. From what I understand, there's going to be a theater there. The opening to the mall, which used to be directly from Sears to where our location is, will now be blocked off completely, which means that traffic at our end will not improve with the building of the new theater that they're building there.
Sir, I'd just like to confirm the amount that you were actually looking for too, please.
I'm sorry?
I would just like to confirm the amount that you were looking for. The city has you at $37,440.
The amount that we are actually paying in rent, in which we have been paying for a number of years, is $2,235 a month. We pay additional, this is not rent, we have additional costs, which include advertising fund, gas pre-bill, hydro, promotion fund, tax, GST, and QST.
Okay.
What's the magic number this year? What's the 33.7? It didn't go up?
Okay.
So you haven't been paying, I gotta ask one more question. You haven't been, prior to this, have you been paying business tax?
We hadn't been paid business tax, no.
You had not been?
No. I forget, there was a reason for it. Well, one of the reasons, and I'm not sure if that was it, but my partner is handicapped and there was something in the city things that, but I can't remember what it was, but I don't know if it was that or it was just because of the amount that we were paying.
Probably the amount.
The other thing is when we had two kiosks in Montreal, and in Montreal, we also never paid taxes. And I'm thinking it was for the same thing. And our rent was basically the same as what it is in Winnipeg.
Okay, if there's no further questions. Thank you, sir, for your time today, and thank you for waiting.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.
Just a rocket. Number 9.
We are going to move on to number 9.
It's getting easier as we go along here.
Can you hear us?
Come on, David.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
And then there's also Janet.
Yes.
And Mark, your microphone is still muted. You can unmute yourself.
Morning.
So just before we open the items, I'll affirm you, are all three of you will be speaking on 5 applications?
Just myself will be speaking to them.
Okay.
I just brought the other two in to observe what happens in the Winnipeg process. So,
Fair enough. Okay.
observing status.
David, please state your name.
It's David Nishi Beckingham.
And do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I so affirm.
Thank you.
The next line from Vancouver.
Good morning. If you'd like to begin, Rowena.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address T59A, 1555 Region Avenue West, Business Assessment ID 6975, Property name Ardeen, Property owners Ardeen Holdings Inc. This business has premise area of 4,078 square feet, and we use the base ARV per square feet at $28.37 per square feet, and use total occupancy cost of $9,991, annual rental value, final annual rental value $125,700. This property has lease information. Lease was signed in April 1st, 2012. 12-year lease for $25 per square feet. And bottom, rent comparables are from the Kildonan Place, which is same location, 1555 Region Avenue West. I focused on the size of the permit. The permit sizes vary on 3,142 to 4,397. My rental rate range is $25 to $34 per square feet. Most of them are 10-year long leases. Based on this information, our annual rental value is fair for this location, and I'm asking to confirm the annual rental value. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Did you have any questions?
Just a couple questions on, I guess the newer lease there, the second one down at T52. Which business is that one?
Ricky's.
Sorry, which?
Ricky's.
Ricky?
Yeah.
No further questions.
Thank you. Tereski?
I got a question about the properties included in the base ARV. Your model-driven rent is $28.37 based on what properties?
Based on the Kildonan Place Mall tenants.
Only on the Kildonan Place tenants.
That is the question I actually had to answer. But I believe it is solely based on that mode.
Just on the mall itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Final question.
You got me again? One to you.
If you'd like to give us your presentation, sir.
Sure. So just going to my brief, it's T59 is the location at 1555 Regent. I have a slightly different rent. I put down the comparable Ardines, so I just put down all the Ardines in Winnipeg and what they're currently paying in rent. Two of them seem to be different than what the assessor has, and I'm not quite sure why that is, if that's the lease rate the assessor has, and they've negotiated different rates since those lease times. I have for the subject location, they're paying $22.50, and the two other comparables that I could find in that location is the Morris location, which is just across the street there from the mall at $19 a square foot. And the only other one that I had rental information for was the Winners in that location. That's the new, much larger space at $18. I'm requesting a rent of what the subject is paying at $22.50 for a total business assessment of $101,746.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you. First question to you. Do you know about the step ups in these leases? Because I kind of wondering about yours and mine might be different in the step up.
Well, that would be a step down because yours is higher than mine. You've got it as 25 from there. But that's what they're paying. They gave me a listing of what they were paying in 2018. I didn't check the month on 2018, but they were paying $22.50 a square foot in 2018.
That means you are telling they were paying $22.50. Do you know the period where they pay $20.50?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I went through the information rent roll. The number I found is $25 per square feet. I want to know about the difference. That's the reason I asked the question. And also, if you don't know the answer, your rent comparables winner is $18 per square feet, which is 10 times bigger than the subject property. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I put down the square footage. Those are the only other rents that I could find in the area that I had. I'm not representing the mall owner, so I didn't have access to any of the mall rents. I just put comparison all the Ardene rents that we did have and tried to find similar comparables. And the only one that I could find that I had information on was the Morris, which is across the street there.
That's all.
It's similar size, yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Boraski?
I have no questions.
Mr. Londa?
No questions.
So this $22.50 that you're saying that they are paying, that
yes.
Excuse me. That is just verbal current that they're telling you?
That they gave me a lease summary of what they're paying for all their stores in 2018, and that's what I've included in here. And there's two that are different than what the assessor has. It's this one and the one in Portage.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why they're different, but that's what they are paying.
So you didn't actually look at their lease then?
I didn't get a copy of the lease for Ardenes, no.
Okay, thank you. That's all my question.
In that case, we're done.
Thanks, yeah, thank you. Sorry, does the panel have any further questions on this?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the next property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address K3, 1555 Region Avenue West. Business assessment ID 37215. Business name Tim Hortons. Owner KPTH Inc. This is a kiosk at the Kildonan Place. Premise area of 251 square feet. We use base ARV per square feet as $238.49. And our annual rental value calculated $60,480. There is the lease information. The lease started in November 1st, 2017, 4-year and 11 months lease for $164 per square feet. They were paying as per the lease information. My rent comparables are kiosks within the region Kildonan Place Shopping Center. This is range from $200 per square feet to $333 per square feet. Our base rent per square feet is kind of in the middle of the good and new rents and comparables and the lowest end. I'm asking to confirm the annual rental value. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of the assessor?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Boreski.
Your comparables, the first 3 are kiosks in the mall.
Yes.
The last one is what?
Food. It's in the food court.
It's a food court?
Yeah, because it's a Tim Hortons. Because that's where I find it's something similar to the same kind of operation. It's in the food court kiosk.
Okay. And your base ARV per square foot amount, $238.49.
Yes.
That is derived as an average of all of the kiosks in the Kildonan Place Mall?
That's the answer I cannot tell.
You're not sure, you don't know where that's coming.
Yeah. Technically, I cannot answer that question.
They are reporting a rent of $164, which is substantially less than your comparables. Why would that be?
I don't know. Actually, I try to find the very similar comparables, 160 type, even though I went through the list. The rental rates I'm seeing higher than that. I don't know much reasons. And also, I think it's a percentage rent. As I know, Tim Hortons paying percentage rent on top of that $164 per month. I assume that might be the lower reason for lower rent.
Thank you.
So it's, the Tim Hortons is not in the food court with this one?
No, it's in the kiosk.
You know, but is it close to the food court or is it down at the other end?
I'm not very familiar with the Kildonan Place.
I'm thinking, is this the one, is it closer to where the Simpsons store was? The close there.
No, I cannot answer. I'm not familiar with the Kildonan Place at all. It is not exactly within the food court. If it's a food court rent, it's come with the F number. This is of the K. It's in the different configuration.
If I may, on page 2 of my brief, I did get a snapshot of the kiosk there, and that may give you an idea where it is within the mall.
No, it's just not really showing the rest of it. It's just showing the kiosk. That's just my eyes. It is in the mall. I got no further questions.
Ms. Tenawara, your rent comparables, the first three that are kiosks, are they food related?
First three, one is food related, the other one is not.
The other two?
Yeah, the two is not, yes, sir.
Okay.
I try to find, recall my Chris something. The name for the food one, the one is only the last one is food related. That's from the X2 is the food related one. And other two is those. Give me 1 second.
But the last one is located in the food court, correct?
Mr. Pretzels is the first one. The second one is to New York fries. The other two is not food related. If I tell you the K7A is not food related, it's a silver jewelry. Okay. The other one is the mobile phone store.
Okay.
Those are kiosks, but it's not related. It's
okay. So the New York fries is the
food, yeah. And Mr. Pretzels is also food related.
Thank you. All my questions. If you would like to give us your presentation, please.
Yes. So just turning to my brief, this is the Tim Hortons kiosks in the mall. The assessor has it at 251 square feet for a premise value of $60,480. I've included a copy of the lease document there. The area, according to the lease, is 240 square feet, and that's if you count the pages. I forgot the number of the pages. Page 9 in under section U, it shows the area there of 240 square feet. The rent is $164 a square foot. There is an additional rent that maybe that's how the landlord is reporting it as just regular rent. So 5% of gross sales above the $164 a square foot, it becomes the additional rent. And this is on page, if you count the pages in, page 12, section 4.02, outline the 5% of gross sales rent for additional rent. I'm recommending for an area of 240 square feet at $164 a square foot for a total business assessment of $39,948.
Thank you.
Yes, only one question. Can you tell me a little bit detail about the additional rent of 5%?
Yep. Let me just pull it up here. I got it here a minute ago. It's on the 9th page. Oh, sorry, 12th page, wrong one. Yeah, percentage rent. The tenant will pay an amount of 4.02 for each year equal to 5% of gross revenue in the lease year minus annual rent for such lease year, payable in monthly installments.
The tenant pay that amount extra additional to $164 per square feet.
The 164 is the base, and if they have sales that whatever the inverse of 5% of $164 a square foot are in sales, they'll pay an additional rent based on the percentage of sales.
So how much is the additional rent that's being paid?
That I didn't ask. I don't know what the total additional rent is. On
So
there.
you're only using the base, not the base plus the additional, or
That's correct.
your desired amount.
Not the percentage of sales, not based on gross sales.
So my only question.
Thank you, Mr. Renda.
And the last number that you gave us of 164 was as of October 2014 to 2017.
They've had a number of renewals in there. So the assessors got the 2017 renewal, which goes to 2022, I believe, is that one.
But you're using your 164 is from the previous one.
Yeah, the rent hasn't changed. It's the 164. They're still paying the 164.
Still paying the 164 plus 5%.
Yeah.
So very close to what the city had. What was the square footage that you were saying was on the lease?
It was 240 square feet.
It's not a big. It's very big. Okay, I've got no more questions.
Just one quick question. I missed what your request was.
Oh, the request is for a total business assessment of $39,948.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions on this panel? Marina? Okay. We're going to move on to 1440 Jack Blick Avenue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address 100A 1440 Jack Black Avenue. Business assessment ID 50343. Business name Atmosphere number 7410. Owner FGL Sports Limited. Business premise area is 10,473 square feet. We use base ARV per square feet as $23.41. Annual rental value calculated $270,840. Property has the lease information. Lease signed in 2014 January 15 for 4 years and 11 months lease for $21 per square feet. I put rent comparable chart here. The rent comparable similar type of big box store type operations. They pay lowest rent is minus $21.25, which is in 600 Empress Street, and highest rent is $25.50. Based on this information, we believe base ARV per square feet is fair for this location. I'm asking to confirm the ARV. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just 817 St. James. Which store is that? That's right on the.
Pier 1 import.
Oh, it's Pier 1?
Yes.
And the one at 55 Sterling Lion Parkway?
Actually, it's a Dollarama.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Bresky?
I'm just looking at these lease start dates. 2357 McGilvery was what?
Petland.
Petland.
It's the corner very close to the Costco fuel station.
Oh, yeah. They call that McGilvery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. That's my only question.
Where's this street? Jack Blake.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Oh, Jungle. It is behind the Polo Park, and it has the standalone type.
Right by PF Chang,
Yes.
but sort of
It's kind
west,
of
it's
forward.
west and behind PF Chang.
You know, the Marshalls and
East.
I know where Empress is.
Bed Bath and Beyond, you ever been there?
Huh?
You ever been to Bed Bath?
No, I have not.
You know where the old, there's a DY station?
Yes. That's okay. It's in that. Okay. Thank you. That's what I need. I'm good.
And I have no questions. If you would like to give us your presentation, sir?
Yeah, that's great. Just for clarification on the location, if you turn to page 2 of the brief, I've just given a quick map there and a screenshot of the outside of the store. You can see the 1440 Jack Blick is sort of in behind the Hudson's Bay there, sort of across the street from the Bed Bath and Beyond. So turning back to page 1 of the brief, this is a atmosphere at it's 10,473 square feet at an assessed rental rate of $23.41 for an annual premise value of $270,840. I tried to find some comparables, similar ones. I went through the sport checks and the Mark's Work Warehouse, and the subject itself is the atmosphere, matching up with the assessor. They're currently paying the $21 a square foot. Other sports ones at the 1485 Portage, that's in the mall, they're paying $23.80, much larger store. Then there's one at 5070 Regent, there's a sport check at 21,000 square feet, $16 a square foot. One at 1225 St. Mary's, 15,000 square feet at $17 a square foot. And this is the same one, the final one at 600 Empress is the same one that the assessor is using, which is basically right in the same one as the on the map that says Bed Bath and Beyond. So it's just sort of across the breezeway there. It's 18,000 square feet at $21.25. So we're asking for a premise rent of $21 for a total business assessment of $245,591.
Thank you. Questions, Marla?
I don't have questions.
Thank you. Mr. Bransky?
No questions.
Mr. Rondo?
Good.
We are going to move on to 14.5.
Just not the same having Dave way over there and staying home.
I know. Well, it's easier to get to these than normally.
Unit 200. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address, Unit 200, 1485 Portage Avenue. Business assessment ID 24791. Business name Ardeen. Business owner Ardeen Holdings Inc. This property has the premise area of 2,809 square feet. We use $54.79 to calculate annual rental value. Property has lease information. Property lease signed in July 1st, 2017 for 3 years. Reported rent is $47.50. And the next page is the rent comparable list. My rent comparables are within the Portage within 1485 Portage Avenue, which is the Polo Park. So you can see the rent comparables, big list of rent comparables. It's a similar size ones and the bigger ones and smaller ones. It's always the range. My lowest range is $54 per square feet for 5,611 space. Sorry, $53 per square feet for 5,153 square feet space. And I have rent comparables closer to 2,000 square feet range. Also, 2,416 first comparable, if they are paying $83. My fourth comparable, 2,876 pay, they are paying $70 per square feet. There is a range for rent in the Polo Park. Based on these rent comparables, I'm asking to confirm the annual rental value as it is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, so if I look at your, going down your unit numbers there, I can see 2016A and 0216A and 0218A. Looks like there are leases signed, very similar start dates, pretty similar sizes. One's at 53 and one's at 65 square foot. So based on that, obviously the location of that is going to be very similar, but it's more business dependent than anything else, is it not? The rental rates that they're able to achieve in them all?
I didn't understand total question, full question.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to say that we've got two units here side by side that seem to be almost identical, but quite a bit difference in rent. Correct?
Okay, which units you are talking about?
0216, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 8th one down on your list, the 8th and 9th one down.
8 and 9, okay.
Right, so you're comparing those two, you've got one's renting at $65 a square foot. The one, pretty much next door to it there at $53 a square foot. And so there's quite a variance in very similar properties, correct?
Anything I can assume is the time period of the lease term. One lease is 3 years, they are paying higher rents. The other lease is 5 years, they are paying lower rents. That's my assumption. That's all I can say with only seeing these numbers. But I don't know what is in the actual lease agreement. We never seen those full lease agreements. To answer this question more details.
Okay. Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Breskin?
Same question about the properties included in the base ARV at 5479. What would that population of properties be?
Can you explain a bit that question?
Okay. This is a model-driven rent of 5479.
Yes.
Based on what properties?
I assume it's a Polo Park because the big property we have very general, specifically analyzed those rents for the Polo Park.
But that is an assumption. You're not sure?
No, I'm not 100% sure because I know how those things work because of the amount of the Polo Park. We put so much time on Polo Park, then we can more those analyses. Based on this assumption, I'm saying they only consider Polo Park.
That's all my question.
So this is inside of the mall store then?
Yes, everything is inside.
Okay. Good.
I have no questions. If you'd like to move on to your presentation.
Sure. Again, if you can go to page 2 of my presentation there, just showing It's in the Polo Park Mall, and then just showing where it's located in the mall. It's way over in the back corner beside the Hudson's Bay, so it's kind of out of the way. And then just going back to page 1. This is the other one where my rent that I have differs from what the assessor has as rent for the Ardines. The assessor has the $27.50 is what they're paying, and they've told me they're paying $44.30 for the subject site. Again, I tried to find comparable, so I listed all the Ardines at their $44.30. Obviously, the best mall in Winnipeg there, they are paying the highest amount at that location. And the only other two that I had information on are ones we talked about earlier, is the Sport Check in the mall and the Atmosphere at the Jack Blick, which is just around the corner. Obviously, the Sport Check is a much larger store than the subject site. I'm just asking for what they're paying for rent on there at the $44.30 based on the 2,809 square feet for a business assessment request of $131,882.
Thank you. Miranda? Question?
Do you aware any about the center step up in this Ardeen also? Because I'm kind of focusing on the discrepancy on rent per square foot rate, $47.50 and $44.30. Do you have any idea about why this difference?
Yeah. As I say, those are the two Ardeens that the numbers they gave me don't match up with the numbers reported by the landlord, and I haven't seen they haven't given me a copy of the lease, so I haven't gone through the lease there, or if there's been an amendment to the lease.
If I ask the question again, $44.30, they reported to you by the tenant, right?
Yes, that is correct.
I'm checking the owner's information. It might be discrepancy. If you don't know, then
No, I don't know why the discrepancy. That's why I pointed it out. There's a discrepancy, and I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I'm sorry.
Can I ask one last question? Yes. Okay. Did you know what is the rent they were paying for this location before? Did they pay $44.30 before and paying something else now?
Yeah, I don't know if they were paying the $47.50 before, and now they're paying less at the $44.30. That's what they reported to me in their rent summary for 2018.
Okay, sure. Thank you. That's all.
Yeah.
Why does your first page say 44.30 towards the top, but 44.50?
44.50 at the bottom because I can't type. For that just probably just rounded it to 44.50 as a rounding amount. Sorry.
So you are using 44.50?
450, yeah. I'm using 44.50 for the 131,000. That is correct.
That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Lorando.
No questions.
Oh, just one still going?
Yes. And I have no questions. Thank you. We're going to move on to our last property. Karen, you okay with me? Okay. Whenever you're ready, Maureen. We're on 555 Sterling Line.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address 140 555 Study Line Parkway. Business assessment ID 52922. Business owner Ardeen. Business name is Ardeen. Business owner Ardeen Holding Inc. This premise is 7,203 square feet large, and we use $34.43 per square feet to calculate a final annual rental value. And property was reporting $30 per square feet as the reported rent. My chart showing the comparable leases for the outlet mall, and those rents also starting. The lowest one is $27.50 and highest is $38. This property, $34.43 in within the range. I am asking to confirm the final annual rent. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Question?
Just a question for the 430 unit 437. Which store is that?
Skechers.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Skechers.
Oh, Skechers. Okay.
Shoes.
Yeah. And the what's the one at 2750? That's unit 238.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Sorry, what's the store at unit 238?
238. I didn't write it down. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Thanks. Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Boreski.
Well, my usual question about the base ARV per square foot at $34.43. Is that based solely on the rents being paid within the discount mall?
Yeah, I will find the answer for you next time.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Laurento.
Just the square footage, 7,200. The closest one is the top one, or the next one. Those are 30 and 2750. So they'd be the best comparables. So why are you allowing that $38 one to jack it up to $34.40?
That's
What's
not my
so special
decision.
about that place?
Yeah, that's not my decision, but I wanted to bring the comparables showing the size and the rental rate and the range. That's why I put the smaller, lower ones and the higher ones to show what the other tenants pay in the outlet mall.
Your more square footage is usually showing less rent. I understand that.
That's true.
And we've got that. Okay. But now the 4278 is showing at 38.
But it's a smaller amount of square footage compared to 7,000. It's a 4,000 square feet versus 10,000.
So, but you're still using the dollar amount, is what I'm saying. Follow me when I'm.
Yeah, but it's not.
When you've got everything else is falling into sequence except for that $38 one. That's the one that jacked you up to $34.
No, I don't use that kind of theory. My theory is showing the more rental rates and show this what's the size and what's the rent they pay, what's the size, what's the rent they pay. That's all. This is just the example only. This I'm not picking to show.
What's the types? What are the types of these stores?
You mean the use?
Yeah.
It's a combination. The first one is the Skechers, it's the shoe. I think another shoe store there. I don't bring all the names for some reason here. But it's a size wise, they are starting 4,200 and it's up to 7,335, which is very close to the subject. They are paying $30.
Okay, I'll let you off this time. I'm good for now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to proceed.
Okay. I'm just noticing there's an area difference between the two. Okay. This is the Ardines at 555 Sterling Line Parkway. I had an area here of 7,173 square feet. Looks like the assessor in their report had 7,203 square feet. I just noticed the difference there. but we're using the same rental rate. So I guess I'm fine with the assessor's area because I would assume that would be what was reported in the. I'll just have to ask them to confirm that after to make sure the area was reported there from the landlord. Then just have the comparables for the various RDs. The subject sites in it, they're currently paying $30 a square foot. The ones that I did have information on was the Gap, which is slightly larger, paying $22 a square foot, and then the Banana Republic, similar size at $22 a square foot. But we're just asking for a rental value of $30 a square foot. And I guess I'll have to recalculate that just on confirmation of the premise area I had there. Based on the 7,173 square feet that I had, it was requesting a value of $232,763.
Thank you. Questions from you? I don't know. Mr. Bresky?
None.
None, no questions either. Thank you very much for your time. Sorry, we're under a little bit of a time constraint here.
Yep.
1 o'clock. But
Run a bit over time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
nice to see you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye now.